Hey everyone out there, how's it going? Welcome to Screen Speak. It is the podcast that is all about movies, life, and so much more. I'm Jordan Anderson, this is my podcast, and I want to sincerely thank you today for coming by and giving it a listen. If you haven't done one of these things already, please go ahead and do so. First, hit that follow button on whatever you're listening to this on, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. It doesn't really matter. As long as you're listening, hit the follow button so that you can support the podcast and make sure that you don't miss out on another episode. Next, the social media side of things. If you like social media, you want to follow the podcast on there, I recommend that you take a look at the Instagram for the podcast, which can be found by simply searching at ScreenSpeak Podcast on Instagram. You'll find it, hit the follow, and you can see exclusive content that gets posted there. And then the last thing for social media is that if you like to engage with the community of ScreenSpeak, you want to talk with other fans of the podcast or just talk about movies or whatever you want, ask me anything if you'd like to, you go ahead and look that up on Facebook. Just search for ScreenSpeak and you can request to join the community and start getting involved with the conversation that we have on movies. So please go ahead and do one or all of those things, and I will really sincerely appreciate it. All right, well, I'm really excited to have you listening to today's episode because I have a new guest on the podcast that I have not had on before. His name is Issac Magee, and he is a barber extraordinaire over at Barber's Edge and Salon here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He actually cuts my hair, so that's pretty cool. And he also happens to be a movie fan, and he likes talking movies. And over some of the last couple haircuts we've had, we've talked movies on and off. And then I finally decided, I was like, hey, you know what? I think he might actually be interested in coming on the podcast. And plus, it'd be pretty cool to promote a local business at the same time and see if we could get something to work out for it. So that's kind of how this whole thing started. So anyways, I asked him to come on the podcast, see if he'd want to do it. He graciously accepted. And so that's what he did. He came on and we ended up talking about The Whole Nine Yards, which is a really underrated Bruce Willis comedy from the year 2000 that also stars Matthew Perry. We talk about that, but then we ended up talking about a lot of different things. We talked about some of our favorite movies, some of our favorite comedies. We talked about the mafia because the mafia is involved with this movie, The Whole Nine Yards. We talked about just a lot of random things, a lot of stuff that I wasn't really predicting, but it's fine because, that's what happens when you're having a good time and good conversation with somebody. We talked a little bit about how we got our starts doing what we do. In my case, for how I kind of got started podcasting. For him, I mean, he's a barber. That's what he does. It's his full-time profession. So we talked about that. And overall, I just thought it was a really nice conversation. And again, I just love having new people on. It's not that I don't enjoy talking to the usual people that I have on ScreenSpeak or people that are recurring guests, but when you have somebody new, it makes it interesting, and nothing really beats the first time. So there you go. But I do want to put in a quick plug for his business again, Barber's Edge. So if you are ever looking for a haircut in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa area, stop by Barber's Edge and Salon. I'm going to pull up their address for you right now if you're in the area. So if you're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa area, it's 3964 Center Point Road Northeast, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 52402. And that's, again, Barber's Edge and Salon. They're a fantastic place to go get a haircut. They do a lot of things there, anything from, like I said, just standard haircuts. They do neck shaves, face shaves, beard trims. They do certain things with colors. They can do waxing. They really can help you out with anything, any and all hair needs. I would definitely recommend talking to them. And as a special thanks for listening to this episode, if you mention my podcast, you mention ScreenSpeak from now till October 31st, you will receive $5 off your haircut. And again, that offer is $5 off a haircut just by simply mentioning ScreenSpeak or this podcast or this particular episode. You go in there, tell them that you heard about them on ScreenSpeak, and they will go ahead and give you $5 off your haircut now through October 31st of 2022. So I'm very excited to be able to have that offering out to you. But again, check them out. They are super awesome. And without any further ado, this is my conversation with Issac Magee of Barber's Edge and Salon. Well, I really appreciate you doing this, sir. Really, really do.
Oh, I appreciate you having me.
And I mean, you obviously must like movies, otherwise I don't know why you'd be here.
Exactly. Love movies. That's why I'm a little overweight. I like to sit there and watch a lot of movies.
No, no, okay, wait. What's your snack of choice?
um, well, I love pizza and I love Reese's peanut butter cups. Anything with chocolate and peanut butter, I'm pretty good with. So
Now, do they go
yeah,
on the pizza or you keep them separate?
I keep them separate.
I was gonna say that might I mean that might be good, but that's almost too much. You need a little bit of moderation with that.
It depends on what kind of night I'm having, I guess.
Now, what kind of pizza though, and from where?
Well, I was thinking, I guess, frozen, but if I had to pick in town, I think the best pizza when they're on their game is definitely Zoe's and
Okay, so
Marion. If you ever had, yeah, Tommaso's is good, and of course,
yep.
like Cappy's as well.
Yeah, God, I haven't had Zoe's since honestly since I was a kid, probably. Like it's been a long time because I don't really get over to Marion that much. But Tommaso's is good, that's for sure. And I know Need's Pizza downtown CR is also pretty good too.
That's good. Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, I just don't, live downtown, I guess, so I just don't
Yeah.
go that far.
Yeah, I wouldn't probably get the pizza unless I was like ordering out or something because
Yeah.
I mean, I can go downtown, but I'm just not really I don't really frequent it that much, you know. Um, okay, so I gotta ask because we're talking about the whole 9 yards today, which I'm thrilled, by the way, that we're talking about this because people we talked about this when we were talking about which movie to talk about, and I think when a lot of people hear Bruce Willis, that they think of Die Hard or Armageddon, Unbreakable, some of these other movies, but I don't really hear a lot of people talk about this one.
Yeah, no, and I think it's one of the best comedies probably ever done. It was like one of the like shocking comedies with Bruce Willis,
Mm-hmm.
and he's really good with that Matthew Perry. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, the
they
guy
were.
from Friends.
Yes, they were good together.
I think it's interesting when I was getting like preparing for the episode and stuff. I was kind of looking at like old reviews on the movie, just kind of seeing what some other critics had thought. And Roger Ebert, I'm sure you remember him back with like Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. They do like the two thumbs up, two thumbs
Oh
down.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
sort of like the
yes,
original like movie reviewers on a
tomatoes.
on a mainstream platform. But he commented in his review that he could just tell, like, regardless of like the movie or like what the quality is, he just felt like he could just really feel the actors were just having a ton of fun making the movie because of all the wacky situations and the fun dialogue and everything.
Yes, it looked like it was probably fun. I like the whole 10 yards too. They could have kept going on them. I would have watched them
I
all.
never saw the sequel.
You never seen the whole 10 yards?
No, I haven't. I mean, I know it bombed when it came out. I know it didn't do too well, but I won't make an opinion on a movie until I watch it.
Oh, definitely check it out. It's kind of like what The Hangover did. They kind of repeated, but
Hmm.
it was still funny to see him twice.
Now, did you have you watched the whole 9 yards recently? Or
It's been a little bit, but I've seen it a few times.
I've seen it several times, so I didn't have to like watch it before this episode to prepare. My older
Yeah.
brother and I, it's actually one of our favorite movies with Bruce Willis, so we've seen it many, many times. I like just from just the opening of the movie alone. I think Matthew Perry really, he's so great in the part. And some people, like, you could say that he's just sort of doing another version of Chandler because he's sort of like a neurotic guy that's kind of insecure, and he's very much Matthew Perry. I think a lot of it's just kind of him being leaning into his own natural humor. Um, but just the just the opening, Isaac, when like he's getting just like bitched out by his terrible wife and the mother-in-law, and he's like, I'm going to work, and like he just sits in the car and just is
He
like,
starts
God damn
punching.
it, and just like just like sort of like banging his head against the wheel. Um,
Yes.
Unfortunately, I guess that's all too relatable a thing. It's just somebody just feeling beaten down by life, but at least you can have a laugh at it.
Yes, that was the part I remember the most when, of course, surprisingly, Matthew Perry, he kind of has a few things that stick out. But when he decided to sleep with Bruce Willis's wife,
Yeah.
ex-wife, like I was done. That was hilarious. And then he was terrified about it, and there's a few really good scenes with him. Yes, I'd say it's one of my favorites, definitely.
Well, I'm thinking of, you talked about how terrified he was, knowing that he was going to sleep with a person's, ex-wife, which ordinarily you'd say, well, okay, maybe you might get in trouble, but like, what's the big deal? And it's like, well, the guy's a psychopathic hitman, or at least that's what he thinks. So it's like, he's naturally afraid he's going to get shot for, I think they say like, "Stoop my wife." I thought that's how Bruce Willis says it in the movie.
Yeah, and then the lady that was working for him was actually a hitman that ended up with Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
She is
they had a lot of twists. They had a lot
man.
of twists in the movie. Yeah, yeah. Now I gotta ask. So on my podcast, Isaac, we talk hypotheticals a lot because they can go in a lot of different directions.
For sure.
Would you be nervous if you found out that you had a new next door neighbor that was a contract killer for the mob, or someone that's hiding?
Yes, I actually got a few questionable clients, but they're great. But yeah, I would definitely be a little terrified. Right now, my neighbor is always mowing the lawn every other day, so I got to keep up with him. He's really crazy with it, keeping it really nice.
So does he get like on you though? Like if like you're
No.
not up to his standard?
No, I just wanted to not look like the worst, yard. So I got to go out there right after him usually. And he's crazy with the snow too. He like catches it before it hits the concrete almost. But
Really?
no, I mean, he just goes out a couple of times a night. But, anyway, yeah, back. So where would this rank in your a funny movie category? You got like a top three or something?
It's hard. Like, it's like when someone asks you your favorite movie. I mean, there's so many. I got my movie collection like right to the left of me here, so I'm kind of eyeballing it just to get a sense of some. Um, I mean, The Whole Nine Yards is certainly one I really enjoy. It's not just for the comedy. I think I like it too because the story kind of keeps you on your toes. Like you don't really always know where it's going. I'm not one of those types that like tries to predict the ending while I'm watching it. I think that's actually annoying. It's like, no, I just want to enjoy the movie. But no,
Yes.
The Whole Nine Yards is really funny. I think other comedies that come to mind for like the best, like Animal House, that's a classic for me.
Rob Snyder?
No, 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 that's the animal, I think. No, Animal House, with like John Belushi, the
that
toga.
must have been an old movie.
Oh, it's from like the 70s. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
geez,
it's way old. But then like other ones, I really like Napoleon Dynamite. That one was pretty funny. Let's see. Did you ever see The Nice Guys? That's an underrated comedy, but that's one
I
from
think
just a
I
couple
did,
years
but
back.
I've only seen it once, but yeah, I think I have seen it. Who was all in that?
Let me see. Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah. It's a buddy cop movie, but it's really, really good. Speaking of Bruce Willis, another underrated movie that he's in, and it's not quite a comedy, but there's a lot of comedy in it, is The Last Boy Scout. Did you ever see that?
Oh, I love The Last Boy Scout.
That's a
And
fun
I
one.
used to own that movie.
Did you?
So I've definitely seen that quite a bit. Damon was awesome in it.
Do you collect movies or do you just mostly stream them?
I mostly stream them. I used to back when there was no streaming. That's where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now I just stream them. But yeah, you bring back some old ones. You're not that old to remember the last boy. The last that came out in '91. Like,
yeah, I was born in '91. I was born.
You were
91.
born in '91, exactly. But very underrated movie, and definitely. That is up there actually with The Whole Nine Yards, probably in my opinion. Good story too.
Mm-hmm. That's also I don't want to say it's her first, but It may be Halle Berry's first movie because she's in it, if you remember, and she gets killed like early on in the movie. She's like his the Damon Wayne's girlfriend that's like a stripper or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean she
I don't
gets like
know.
mowed down at the beginning with machine guns, but yeah, I always remember that about that. So I'm kind of looking at other comedies I have over here. I love Dodgeball. There's something about Mary. Those are fun movies. I love Superbad. That one for me is probably a favorite because that movie alone like very much captured like my high school generation and like kind of what high school was like when, back around 2008, 2009. It was very, very accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
Um, Love Dazed and Confused too, but that's another older one, but that's a great one.
it wasn't that like with like aliens or something.
No, no, Dazed
The
and Confused.
cafeteria. That was.
The cafeteria. Oh, is that like the faculty?
Yeah,
I
the
think that's what you're
faculty. That's
thinking
what I
of.
was thinking of. No, no,
Yeah.
I was off. All right.
I
Well,
haven't seen that. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
hey, well, I guess you're more into comedies, but
No,
Hellraiser's.
oh hell, I like a ton of them. I really, I promise you, I got a pretty wide taste for movies.
Are you gonna watch the new Hellraiser?
I think I will, because I remember I was talking with you about that, and I know you were excited, and I'm not super familiar with the original, so it's not like I'm like really attached to the original. So I think watching the new one would be good because it'll just be refreshing for me.
Yeah, it kind of helps to watch the older ones, but there's a ton of them.
Well, it's based
That's
off
way
a,
off this.
isn't it based off a book?
I'm.
Thought it was based off a book. I could be
It
off.
might be. I don't know. I'm not much of a reader. That's probably a terrible thing, but
I wish I could read more, but it's a time thing, and I guess that just means I'm a slow reader. Okay, so I'm looking at the cast of the whole nine yards on here. And I just kind of want to run down each of them here, the main players of the movie, and get your thoughts on it. Um, so I know you like Matthew Perry. You liked him as Oz. Like, do you have any particular moments in the movie that stand out to you?
um, well, when you got to see which one was that? I think no, Natalia. You didn't get to see her. You got to Amanda Peet. You got to see her like half naked. That was pretty cool. She was hot. Yeah.
No, I meant with Matthew Perry. Just moments with
Oh
him.
well, no. I mean, yeah. Well, when him and Freddie Figs was on the boat, and
Yeah.
he had to kill one of them, and he shot Frankie. That was
Mhm.
great. That was
Definitely, I
pretty
definitely
funny.
didn't see that coming. I think what I liked about Matthew Perry, at least for me in the movie, is like a lot of his comedy to me, like some of it's like slapstick stuff. Like when he first sees Frankie Figs in the hotel room, and like he just immediately like turns around and like, or no, he sees Jimmy in the hotel room because
Oh,
Frankie's behind him, and Michael Clark Duncan's a huge dude. And he
yeah,
just he
yeah.
just turns around and bounces into him like he's like made of paper and just flies into the lamp. That part gets me every time.
Oh God, that's what I'm saying. You definitely got to check out the whole 10 yard. You will like it. I know people hated it, but they don't. It'll still bring you back to the whole 9 yards, and it's a little bit of an extension to the story.
Hmm.
But yeah, I
Now,
mean, I'll go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, just talking about Bruce Willis. I think Bruce Willis. First off, I feel so bad, like what's happening with him now. Like you know about that,
Yeah,
right? It's a
yeah.
freaking shame. It's a terrible shame. The aphasia and everything. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I definitely like miss. I'm gonna miss him. I mean, I love Bruce Willis, so it sucks. But I think in this movie he really showcases like just that kind of classic Bruce Willis charm because he's a potentially sociopath like hitman,
Yeah.
but he's really damn likable in the movie. Like you'd almost want to be friends with him.
Oh, for sure. And I think they tried to. I didn't like Red. I think they were trying to kind of do the whole 9 yards thing with Red, or I didn't. A lot of people liked it. It was a badass, action movie, but I I
Mm-hmm.
preferred him in the whole 9 yards. Of course, when he did what was the older movies that usually what people bring up when they talk about Bruce Willis?
Well, like Die Hard for
Die
sure.
Hard, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love those movies too, but they're all kind of the same. And I guess if you think about the whole 9 yards, it's almost an extension of that, but just like a comedic version. But yeah, one of my favorites, Bruce Willis. I mean, I would watch it because of Bruce Willis over Matthew
Mm-hmm.
Perry, even
Yeah,
though I don't
definitely.
know who you could cast in his spot, but um, he's probably one of my top five actors of all time.
Who, Bruce, right?
Yeah, Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah, he certainly has an interesting body of work. I feel bad, and I'm not gonna act like I'm, innocent of it, but a lot of people, I think, like in the last 5, 6 years especially, have been, pretty much shitting on his career because he's been making a lot of those like straight to the dollar bin kind of
Yeah.
quality movies. But then I think, now that people know about, his condition and kind of what was going on, I'm sure that had to play a part in it. I don't think he would have just done those movies, you know, just willy nilly. But
No.
I don't know. It's like people are so quick to tear somebody down. It's like the guy can work hard for 30 years and make amazing stuff, but if they work, make some shitty films for a couple of years, people they're so quick to forget.
Yeah, it is. It was the whole 9 yards. Probably one of the best Matthew Perry movies. What other movies has Matthew Perry
Um,
done?
Well, the thing is, like, when he got done with Friends, and I don't know exactly when Friends ended, because I think because the whole 9 yards came out in the year 2000, I'm pretty sure. And Friends, I think, was close to being done at that point, but he was starting to get movies. He did that movie, what is it, like Fools Rush In with like Selma Hayek. I know he had that. Here, I'll pull him up on IMDb. Let me just figure this out. Matthew Perry. I definitely like him though. I mean, I've liked him a lot, and it's kind of sad, he's had a pretty bad history with alcoholism and stuff like that. I'm sure you've heard about some
I
of
didn't
that.
even know. No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, like during Friends, he got like really bad into alcohol, and here I'm looking at his movies right now.
Me
Uh,
too. Yeah, it's looking like the whole 9 yards is probably
so yeah,
probably it for him.
yeah, he had the whole 9 yards, the whole 10 yards, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm thinking so yeah, because he had oh yeah, Almost Heroes. That's the last movie that Chris Farley did before he died.
Oh, I loved Chris Farley.
Yeah. And Tommy Boy, I was gonna say as far as comedies go, Tommy Boy is a high ranking one for me.
Yeah, that was
Um yeah, I think
Beverly Hills
just
Ninja was one of my favorites of
oh
his
my God.
his
Just quick moment on Beverly Hills Ninja, and then we'll go back to the movie. But during the opening credits of that movie, when he sees his brother, what is it, Gobei, the like ultimate ninja, basically take that pot with like the boiling water and like lifts it up, it's just like, and then when he goes to do it, he's just like.
Oh yeah, he had a lot of. He kind of spawned a whole bunch of like Adam Sandler and
Hmm.
a whole bunch of them guys. He's probably most memorable from his Saturday Night Live skits, which again was probably a little before your time, but back
I
in the
mean,
day
it
of Mad
was, but like,
TV. And,
yeah, no, like it was for sure. But I grew up watching Chris Farley. Like my mom is a huge fan, so like we have all like the best of SNL DVDs with
oh,
him and
geez.
watched all his movies and whatnot. So I'm very familiar with him.
All right.
um, but I'm looking at the next character to talk about here is I love Michael Clark Duncan as Frankie Figgs, the big
Oh
linebacker
yeah.
looking guy.
Oh, for sure.
Most people know him from the Green Mile, of course,
Yes, yes, of
which he
course.
was terrific in. But I really liked him in the movie. I think you could just tell that him and Bruce Willis are friends, or at least they were friends anyway. Um, but I thought that he matched the energy pretty well of all the actors on set, and he kind of did like the imposing, because he's such a physically big guy. I think he leaned into that for his comedy. Um,
Yes.
But that and that's something I guess like if I'm looking at the whole cast, a lot of them they have to play it straight. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to the comedy, it's like they have to act like it's not funny and just play it 100% straight. And I can only imagine that's so tough. Because some of that stuff, it's like, could you really do that in a take without laughing?
It would be hard. Well, that's why they're, top tier actors. Definitely Michael Clark is and Bruce Willis.
Yep. I always love them two in Armageddon together as well.
Doesn't Natasha look like
And
Cameron Diaz?
yeah, I could see it. Now, like back in the day.
Yeah,
For
back
sure.
in the day. Oh, The Mask. You remember back in the day? That's what brought
Yeah,
me
that
back
that
to The
was
Mask.
yeah, that was Cameron Diaz's first movie.
Yes, that was
I
a.
know Natasha Henstridge, when I think of her, actually, did you ever see those Species movies?
Oh my God, that's why I recognize her.
Yeah.
Yes, I love the Species movies, all of them. They didn't
Now,
do like very well, but
they didn't do that great, but I'll be perfectly frank with you. The first one, I mean, of course, like anything that's a series, the first one's usually the best. And the
yeah.
story and the plot, it is intriguing for it. But Isaac, if I'm being real, I watched that movie when I was a young adolescent boy, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you, there's a lot of nudity in that movie. So
Oh yeah.
I wish I could tell you I only liked that movie for the plot.
Yeah, I don't even remember the plot. I mean, I know like she had to lure guys. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't know what was going on, but I would have done it. Whatever, She was great.
even though you like you might get killed because she's a murderous alien, you're just like,
Yeah,
well,
gotta take your chances. I think they were trying to compete with that Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver or whatnot, but
Yeah, I don't
that
doubt
was
it.
that was hard to do. Alien was a great movie too. I think they just had a bigger budget or something. But
Now, what did you think of Back to the 9 Yards? What did you think of Kevin Pollak? Who plays Yanni Gogolak, the main mob boss that's trying to kill Bruce Willis.
okay, he was great too. I mean, I liked him.
I think
Um
his energy to me that he brought to it was like he sort of treaded that perfect line between you like he's being funny, but you're like, should I laugh or should I not laugh? Because he's
yeah,
playing it so serious too.
like a mobster on Goodfellas. Like I think he'd do great with that. You don't know
Hmm.
if he's gonna kill you, but he's psycho. That's
Well, and I love how everybody now, Oz is just Oz. That's not really like a fun name, but there's a lot of fun like mob names in the movie. You have Jimmy
Johnny
Tudesky,
Goldblatt.
Jimmy T, you have Frankie Figs, Yanni Gogolak. They have all these cool names. And even in like those Goodfellas movies, they have all the mobsters with the nicknames and stuff. If you were in the mob, Isaac, what would be your mob name?
Well, I would. Yeah. God, that's a tough one. Well, I
Uh-huh.
guess I'd go with my gamer tag, which is it's Kill Ezeki. So that's probably what I'd run with.
Now, what is just Ezeki just like a iteration of your name? Like,
Yeah,
is it?
that's all it is.
That's all it is. So,
Yeah,
what'd you say? Was it Kill Ezeki?
Kill Ezeki. Yeah, that's my gamer tag. If
So that'd
anybody
be your
wants
mob
to,
name.
I guess that'd be my mob name. I mean, I wouldn't look good in the mob. I don't. I don't know like any cool mob names for me. What would you go with?
Uh, I I don't know. I'll answer it by answering it with another story. Not really, but kinda. I don't know about my mob name off the top, but I can tell you that for whatever reason, if I ever go to jail, I have my prison nickname already made up.
Oh, what's that?
So it's called I'll be called Tater Tot in jail.
Oh
So
God.
yeah, no, the reason why is in my head because first off, Isaac, I'd be the belle of the ball in prison. It would not be good. I would not last. It would be bad. But my fantasy is if I go to jail is that I would be like in line like getting food and it's like the first day of jail and they say like you got to kick somebody's ass the first day or you're going to become somebody's bitch, right? It's
Probably.
one or
Yeah.
the other. So in my head, some guy steps on me in line. I take my dinner tray and like bash him over the head with it like a psycho and like scream at him for trying to take my tater tots. And then everybody's afraid of me and starts calling me tater tot.
Hey, that'll work. Hopefully that if that ever happens, that happens.
No.
Yeah.
No. Now, as far I gotta answer your question though, like with a mob name, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like I used to like my nickname in high school used to be Swiffer, but that's just because I cleaned. I like to clean stuff really well and be very tidy. But that's not
See,
really
mine
like
used to
a
be Zeke. So, I just added a Y and
yeah, see, that's
I was
better.
yeah, I think I don't know though. Tater Tot's not bad though.
I mean, that's just
But
if I go
nobody
to
either way,
jail,
nobody would
but
be, I guess, afraid of either. Nobody would believe either of us if we were mobsters. So
no,
I guess that's
and
not.
that's funny because like I know for myself, like people that know me well, and you could probably tell this through conversation. I am not an intimidating guy. Like, I mean, I think I'm nice. I think I could, if I was mad, somebody might, be a little, afraid, but I don't think I'm the type that's, just for my presence, I'm going to instill fear on somebody. No, no,
Well,
no.
I am. My wife must have the cats upstairs, but I have like four cats, and I am very not intimidating. That's for sure. I like to think I am though when I'm in the gym, I guess, but which
Okay,
is
so you
rare.
now like you go to the gym then?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, why would you be intimidating at the gym? Like, is like just because
Well,
you're
I think
lifting
in
like
my head,
massive
I'm listening.
weights?
Yeah, I'm looking in the mirror, listening to 50
Yeah.
Cent, but I mean, mob movies. I mean, I don't know if the whole nine yards really classifies as a mob movie. I've never thought of that.
I
Because
think technically it is.
God, does that come in like one of my top mob? I mean, of course, Goodfellas is number
Oh
one,
yeah.
for me, but The Godfather, it was good. I don't want
Yeah.
to make him, it was all right, but I like the Goodfellas, and I like the whole nine yards. I never even thought of that. That could really be a mob movie. Wow.
Well, if it's like Isaac, the same people that say like Die Hard's a Christmas movie just because it takes place during Christmas, right?
True. Yes, that's
So it's
yeah.
like by that standpoint, yeah, the whole nine yards is literally all centered around the mafia. So I'd say it's a mob movie,
I guess, and I'm gonna
a
I'm
mob
gonna put it up
comedy.
there in one of my favorites in the mob category.
Yeah,
But
so you said that you like Goodfellas, you have respect for The Godfather and stuff like that.
yeah.
Would you say that you like a lot of like organized crime movies, just like the mafia as a subject?
Yeah, I actually follow Michael Freeze.
Michael
He was
Francie,
yeah, Clancy.
Franchi.
Yes, yeah, you know who I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
I follow him too.
I follow him. I love it. And I like what he's saying. He seems like a great guy. I like
I could
that
listen
kind
to
of
him
stuff.
talk
I
for
love that.
hours.
What
I was just saying I could listen to him. I think it's
for hours?
Michael Franchise or
Yeah,
Francis.
Franchise. Yeah.
I could listen to that guy talk for hours. I'm subscribed to him on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't sign up for like he has like it's kind of cute. He has what is it like his club like his own like mob
Yes.
like
Yeah, I don't want to be part of that at all. But
no, but he's a fascinating guy and he really turned his life around.
he did. He's one of like only the very few. I think he was even friends with that the guy who just passed, who was in
Ray
the movie
Liotta.
Leota. Yeah, that's it.
I know he knew him.
Yeah, or knew him, and yeah, I think was his character based off Michael. No, because
I don't
Michael
think it was
did
based
before
off
him.
him, but there is a Michael Francis that's in Goodfellas. He's
Yes,
in
yes,
that like
that's the
famous
one.
monologue scene where they're just like, okay, like this is this guy, and then they're like, then this is Michael Francis, and like
Yes,
he's
yeah.
just there.
Oh, and do you watch the because he was beefing with another mobster that like snitched on everybody and was calling him a snitch, and then they actually talked it out, and it was crazy. You'd have to check it out. There's only a couple of them left from like those families, and
hmm
yeah, it's fascinating.
I've certainly gone down the rabbit hole with Michael Francis. I watch a lot of documentaries too, so, and I've certainly watched some on particularly like the New York Mafia because that's where like a lot of that stuff sort of was most prominent, especially in like the 70s and 80s and whatnot. Because you have like the Gottis, the Gambinos. I'm thinking of some of the other famous families that they had. But no, organized crime is really fascinating to me, and I think it's just because the lifestyle is so it's extravagant, but it's also terrifying because like murder is just like a part of a day. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
not at
like
all unusual just like go kill somebody just because you have to. Um, but I'm always fascinated by it, particularly like I guess I don't understand like how people even get involved with that. Now, I don't think there's like a mob here where we're at, so we don't have to worry about that. But it's just like, how the hell do people fit into this life?
Speaking of murder, did you watch the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary? Like, I
No,
know.
well, they have the new series. I know there's a new series and documentary on it. It's getting a lot of buzz
Come,
on Netflix.
what is going on? Like, literally, the serial killer movies like gonna boost Netflix. Like,
Yeah,
what is? And I know it's predominantly women just love
right.
serial killers. I guess I can't even watch it. I'm into horror,
Is
but
your
I'm not
wife
into that.
is your wife one of those people though that like she loves all like the murder stuff and
No, she hates anything with blood. But I mean,
but you're not
everything
wrong.
I
I think
see online.
a lot of women like it. It's true.
What is up with that? Like, why? Like, we're really good. We're really
I
good.
joke and I just say they're just thinking of ways to kill us. You know, they just want to figure it out.
Yeah, that's just it's insane to me that how big those kind of movies, that kind of stuff is. But that's just me. Maybe I got to give it a try. I've never really watched.
I think more of like what it falls under though is that it's just people get fascinated with the psyche of a person that does that to somebody. Like the mindset that somebody has to be in to do those despicable, awful things. You
Kind of like
know?
how we watch the mobster stuff.
Yeah, I mean, because to me, like I watch it and I'm entertained for sure. I'm
Yeah,
entertained. I'm fascinated. I'm like, wow, these guys are, and it's always the weird thing with the mafia movies too, because you almost kind of root for the guys in a way. You don't actually really hate them, but they're doing terrible things. Like they're beating up people, extorting businesses, setting stuff on fire. Like they're not good guys.
yeah, true.
But I don't know. I think that's what it is. It's just because a lot of people, I think they lead what is the old expression? It's like a lot of people lead quiet lives of desperation, meaning that they're always fantasizing about things they wish they could do or they don't do. And so when they see
But that
somebody
that
that
is
lives such an
messed up.
extreme life, yeah, not the serial killers though, not that.
Yeah, I mean that's messed up. That I think like it's like one of the number one streaming things on Netflix. Like it's like
Yeah.
number one. It's bizarre. That's what
I
that's what we're
think
coming down to. It's
I'm trying to
society.
think because I watched, did you watch Mindhunter, like that Netflix show? Because that was all
I
about like
didn't.
FBI profiling.
Yeah, but I watched the one where there was like seven of them and they worked Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
That was really good. I loved Criminal Minds. If you ever watched it.
It's coming back, I saw, I think. I'm
Well,
not like I'm not big on the show, but I know like Rossi, like he's a character in it. I think he's
yeah.
coming back for it.
Yeah, but I mean they've done it a lot and too much, kind of like the Blacklist, which I loved the first, 5 seasons of Blacklist, but then they went
Hmm.
off into some craziness. But I don't. I know you're not really into series; you're more into movies. So
Sure.
actually, one of my favorite movies ever, I guarantee you've never heard of it, is it's
Hmm.
called K-Pax. Have
Are
you heard
you
of it?
kidding me?
You haven't heard it. No
Oh
way.
yes I have. And guess what?
That
I'm gonna prove it to you
Yeah,
right now.
prove it
You
because I
yeah,
am the
you wait.
only one that's my favorite movie of all time. Like what?
You think I'm kidding? Look.
Oh my god! Oh wow!
Or sorry, you can see
Yes,
it. I got it right
I,
here.
I can see it. K-Pax is one of the best movies ever. It kind of went down the powder road, but I think it's just much better.
What does that mean, the
I can't
powder
believe
road?
you actually
I
have it.
don't know
That's
that
awesome.
expression.
What?
You said it went down the powder road?
Yeah,
What?
like the Powder was a movie that was just like K-Pax. Similar. It was about a guy who got electrocuted or came from electricity and just appeared, and he was like all albino, and
Oh.
he was from another planet. It turns out K-Pax was just a little more in depth.
shit, no. K-Pax is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
love
an
it.
amazing movie, and again, you also just got some points for that because nobody talks about that movie. In fact,
No, nobody
I might have to
does.
have you back because I could do an entire podcast on
I
that
could do a
movie.
whole yeah, and I've seen it so much that yeah, I could yeah, we could probably definitely talk about that. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's why, like, I mean, Kevin Spacey, I get it. I mean, I don't know
yeah,
exactly what he
it's.
did.
I can
Phenomenal
separate the
actor.
art from the artist, though.
Yeah,
At least for me,
exactly.
I can do it. I don't condone what he has, been accused of in his own private life. I don't. But am I going to pretend like he's not excellent in the movie and it's not a well-told story? No, I'm not. It's a good movie. Um,
Yeah.
I also, I don't know if you ever like do this for movies, but I'm a big composer guy, so like I love a lot of the music from films. And K-Pax, the reason why it stands out to me for that is because Edward Shearer, the composer for the movie, I love the soundtrack for that movie. The music is really good in K-Pax if you ever go back and listen to it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, wow, that is so crazy. I think you're the only person I've ever heard that's actually heard of K-Pax, to be honest with you.
Well, guess what? Now the Screen Speak audience has heard of K-Pax, and they're gonna run out and check it out and see what the hell are these guys talking about.
Yeah, check out. You want a good drama, about aliens. It's not really about aliens. It's
Well,
about how
okay,
terrible
okay.
humans are.
Hang on though. All right, now we're gonna go back to the whole 9 yards, but I can't help but ask the question that any K-Pax fan will ask: do you think that Kevin Spacey is he actually an alien, or do you really just think that like he was going through like a psychological breakdown basically from the incident that happens in the movie?
Well, yeah, at the end he disappears.
Hmm.
I think it was phenomenal.
And
I
Bess
would
is
say
gone.
yes.
The mental patient's gone. The girl, they can't find her at the end.
Yeah, and so did yeah, he took somebody with it. That was so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, wow. I'm gonna have to rewatch that movie. That's how he was also in 2012, which was okay if you got 2.5 hours to kind of watch, but yeah, Kate, definitely one of my favorite movies. I could watch that on repeat. But yeah, the whole 9 yards. Where were we on that?
No,
I know a lot of
we'll
people have heard more about the whole 9 yards than K-Pax.
hey, I'm happy to give K-Pax some love. I am because it's a
Awesome.
damn good movie. Um, okay, real quick though, I gotta weigh in on the K-Pax thing, and then I'll shut up and go back to the whole 9 yards.
Mhm.
Where I think it stood is that I do think that an alien took possession of his body. I do think that. And I do think at the end, the alien just basically left doing the speed of light travel thing. And then what was left was the comatose, basically vegetable body of this person that suffered a horrific trauma. I think that's what happened. But
Oh, I could have swore at the end though. I thought they both disappeared.
well, the
So
girl
Kevin
disappears
Spacey.
for sure, but his body's still there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's like he's like a vegetable after that. He's just like comatose. He can't talk, he can't speak, he can't do anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I believe he was definitely an alien.
Now,
The airport
now,
scene, that was amazing. You remember
okay,
Rain Man? God, it was kind of similar to a
I've seen
Rain
Rain
Man.
Man. Yeah.
Rain Man didn't have nothing to do with aliens, but that it kind of touched you like that a little bit. But
I
yeah, a
just
whole 9 yards.
anytime I think of Rain Man though, I just think of Hot Water Burn Baby. Hot Water Burn Baby.
I get my underwear at Kmart, wasn't it? You had to watch Wheel of Fortune or something at 6
Oh
o'clock.
God.
It was something.
Now, okay, so we were talking about organized crime and
Yeah,
that whole
that's right.
thing.
Organized crime movies, which we could go on about that as well. But
No, but the thing I was gonna jump to next is interestingly enough, because Bruce Willis, he's a contract killer. He's a murder for hire. And it just always makes me think, not that I'm asking you, hey, Isaac, what's your price to murder somebody? Because that's gonna go down a dark road. We're not gonna
yeah,
do that. Right. But it does make me interested in the people that honestly probably do it for a living today. I mean, I'm sure there's real hitmen out there that,
Oh yeah,
they don't do it for, personal gain or gratification. They're just like, yeah, I get a lot of money to shoot somebody or poison them or whatever. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's actually kind of scary knowing that there's actually probably a lot of them out there that haven't been caught.
yeah, and COVID has COVID, I think, changed people a lot. I mean, I've been a barber for 15 years or so. So like
Hmm.
I've seen the attitude of people for quite some time. But after COVID, I've had a couple of suicides. One was a couple of years ago, and one just happened like a few weeks ago. A lot of divorces. And I traveled. I like to travel too. And we went
Hmm.
down to Florida not too long ago, down just to Destin, and it was people were a lot more angrier now, so
Hmm.
it's just a lot crazier.
Yeah, it's a funny time that we live in right now. Maybe not funny, but just divisive, extremely divisive. That's for sure.
Yeah, very political, and you just got to be careful of what you say. And back in God, even back in your time, we used to be
Hmm.
pretty heartless. We grew up with South Park. We said so. Now
Yeah.
you can't even find South Park anymore, which might have been too far. They did go pretty far, and that's when you get to crossing the lines, and you could be perceived as a bully if act like that. So yeah, I guess it does open your eyes a little bit, and people are at least now cleaner and try to stay away from you. I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like my thing, like with comedy and like crossing the line, I think comedy's, the job of a comedian or somebody that's in entertainment like that. I think their job is to cross the line. I think like they're meant to always kind of push the envelope and push the edge. And if you don't like it, then hey, you don't like it. We're allowed to have freedom of opinion and freedom of speech and everything like that. I don't care. I might not agree with it, but I'm not going to take away someone's right to do it.
So you're saying Will Smith was probably wrong?
Yeah, the Will Smith thing. Yeah, okay, we can talk about that for a second. Where did you stand with that? Like him doing that?
God, this might not. I don't like his wife, Jada, whatever. I don't like
Yeah,
her.
Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't like her, and I never really liked Will Smith. I
Uh-huh.
mean, he played great in Ali.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. I mean, he honestly, he's a watered down Denzel Washington, and let me just watch Denzel. I don't know. That's probably too
It's
much.
hard to touch Denzel though. I
I
mean,
love Denzel. Yeah,
it's like that's like, he's a goat. I mean,
yeah,
he's really
and
good.
Will is good too. I mean, he's just like I don't know. I'd rather watch The Rock in a movie. I don't know. Like I know a lot of people love him, but yeah,
I mean,
not a fan.
I have certainly liked a lot of Will Smith movies. I can't say like there's one where I'm like, my God, he changed my life from his movie.
Yeah, let's.
I can tell you though. I mean, I will say this: if I'm gonna look at a Will Smith movie and be like, I think that's his best just performance, like as like an artist in the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, I think he's tremendous in. Like that's a movie where I'm like, yeah, like you're showing your acting chops for sure in that movie. But otherwise, like, he's a pretty like, just like entertaining actor. Like you don't necessarily expect the world of him, but he'll entertain
He'll
you with,
show up like Bad
yeah.
Boys. You can watch that. Men in
I
Black. You can watch.
I do like Men in Black. Yeah, I like those. I didn't see the new one though, like that weird they did like a reboot with Chris Hemsworth, and I never watched that.
Um, I guess. God, I'd have to say Ali was probably. I did like I Robot because I was in Men in Black was okay, but who knows if he was the one who actually made that movie? The other guy might have. I forgot who was he playing next to again?
Well, Tommy Lee Jones.
Tom. Oh yeah, Tommy Lee. That's
He's another like American icon. He's great.
yeah, and I'm saying, Will Smith is definitely an American icon. I mean, I'm not gonna take anything
Right.
away. I just prefer other role, like Pursuit of Happiness. A lot of people go to that movie. Yeah, you know, if you're into drama,
Yeah.
the sadness, you want to cry, I guess. I
Now,
still would rather watch John Q, but
yeah, that's a hard one.
it is as if you're going for touching movies, but yeah.
Well, okay, let me ask you though, like when you're talking about like, you're gonna have a good cry if you watch like a real drama and stuff like that. I find a lot of people when they think about the movies they want to watch, it's very dependent on your mood. Like, are you in a good mood, a bad mood? Do you want to, really feel? Do you just kind of want to watch mindless entertainment? Do you
See, I
feel
don't like mindless entertainment. I like to think. Like I
so you
like
like a movie to like kind of get under
suspense.
your skin a little bit?
Yeah, and let me think about what's going on or what's going to happen next. So if you have any suggestions on anything like that, you are
Oh, I do. I
all
can
right. Give
definitely
me
give
your
you
best one
suggestions.
for thinking. Like I want to,
Hmm.
That's why I'm into sci-fi and
Okay, I got one for you. I got one for you. Have you seen Predestination?
no.
Okay, so it's an independent sci-fi movie. It's from like I'd say like the last like 4 or 5 years. I want to say maybe older, but it's got Ethan Hawke. I'm sure you know who he is, right?
Yeah, it came out in 2014.
Okay, yep. If you
Yeah,
watch that movie, that is a movie where you're gonna watch it, and especially the first time, because it's one of those ones where the first time you watch it's the best because you don't know the twists and everything like that. But if you watch that movie, it's gonna screw with you, and you're gonna be like, "What?"
all right. Real quick, give me an idea of like kind of what is it like? What's it about? What do we?
Okay, so I don't want to. I can't say too much because it'll sort of give away the main things. But I
Okay,
will just say it has time travel in it, and it's about a
got it.
hitman having to go back and change sort of the course of history to make something terrible not happen. But in the process, it gets really screwy in the head, and the hitman almost has to like, I don't want to say like take himself out, but he has to make some pretty hard decisions with I can't say too much.
Well, wasn't that kind of like a move, The Loop or something? I
Looper.
think Looper wasn't
Looper
uh,
has time travel in it, but this one, yeah,
this
Predestination's it's a little bit
little
different.
different. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
there's
remember what was that name of that movie that that guy took a pill and then he could think really good and
oh,
he
Limitless, Limitless.
oh why is that's underrated. I love
That's a
that
great
movie.
movie. They made a TV series out of it for a minute, but
Yeah,
I don't think it took.
that's probably why. I'll
I'm
have to
trying to
check
think.
out Predestination. Yeah, I'll have
Yeah,
to check that out for sure.
Predestination. I got another one if you like science fiction in particular that makes you think. Have you ever seen Moon?
But it isn't that I thought that was a Chinese movie
No,
or
no, no, no,
Japanese.
no. No, no. Moon has Sam Rockwell in it. I think it came out like 2011. Kevin Spacey's actually in it as a voice of a robot.
Oh, you just sold me probably.
Yeah, it's a very small movie, but that also has like some deep thoughts in it, and certainly it's not like the easiest movie. Like you'll be thinking about it when you watch it. It's really really interesting.
Oh my God, where has this movie been? Yes, I will probably watch this.
Yep,
Can I watch it?
that's another good
No.
one. Another movie which I mean there is an original one from like the 60s, but I doubt you'd watch that. Have you ever heard of Solaris with George
No, I
Clooney?
haven't.
That's
But
another
it's from the
one.
60s, you're saying?
Well, no, no. So the original's from the 60s, but then I don't know. It was like in like the early 2000s. George Clooney did a remake of it.
I think I have. I think I fell asleep in it
It's
though,
it's
maybe.
a I'm not okay. I'm not gonna lie. It is a very like dry, slow burn movie. Like it's not
Mm.
fast paced. It's purposely dragged out. But that movie sat under my skin. Like it really kind of actually creeped me out. It's a very very disturbing movie. Really weird.
Well, all right. Yeah, give me a
Um,
couple movies to look into.
Yeah, I was gonna say look into those, but I mean Moon for sure. Predestination. I know you'd probably like both those. Do you have one for me that would like sit under my skin if I haven't already seen it?
Yeah, right off the top, something that'll sit under your skin. All right, man.
Yeah.
Strangeland. Now that's more creepy, weird, kind
Okay.
of crazy. Not my personality, but if you want something that you feel a little dirty watching, that's it.
When I think of a movie that like
And
the
D.
exact.
Snyder's in it actually.
Oh, okay. No,
And
I haven't
Scream.
seen it. I haven't seen it. When I think of a movie like the way that you just described it, where like you feel a little dirty watching it,
Yeah.
I feel that way for the American remake of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the one
Oh,
with Daniel Craig.
I haven't seen it, but I've thought about it.
It's, I mean, the Swedish version I think is it's a little bit better, but again, you got to watch the subtitles and stuff. But the David Fincher one, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, that one, ugh, there is some nasty scenes like in that movie.
Actually the first time this year I had to watch the first time this year I watched a movie that was subtitles. It was a Chinese movie, and it was like
Mm.
I forgot it was on Netflix, but it's like a zombie movie, and they had a really cool spin on it. I forgot the name of it. I'd have to look into it and look it up.
Hmm.
I guess we can talk about that a little later, but
Yeah, no, it's all good. I want to okay, there's two more things I want to touch on for the longest yard, and then we'll keep going. But one thing like the character of Oz, he has I'd say like he's always on the verge of a nervous breakdown, like in the movie, right? Like he's like very stressed about thinking that he's
yes.
gonna get killed. He's trying to maintain all the stuff with his wife and all that craziness. But I'm curious for yourself, have you ever like just in your own life, like gotten to a point where you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose it. Like I'm going to lose it.
Um, Not really. I try not to let things like stress me out. Maybe back when I was in high school,
Hmm.
but I really try not to let things, stress me out or get to me like that. And to me, things aren't a big deal, unless somebody's dying or something like that, and
Right.
but yeah, no, I don't let things affect me. But oh, one other thing that if you ever want to feel dirty is that American Horror Story that series. Holy crap, you'll need to smoke a pack of cigarettes after watching an
Oh
episode of that.
Jesus.
But yeah, no, yeah, back anyway. No, nothing that's really made me lose it. I don't even. I
So
had a
you're not
friend that
like
was
you don't consider yourself like a neurotic guy. I mean, like you're pretty like even tempered. You don't get like spooked that easy and stuff like that.
No, not really. I've seen a lot of things. I kind of knew somebody who was like the character that Bruce Willis played. He
Yeah.
was really crazy, but really funny. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, nothing that. What about yourself? You ever lose it and freak out?
Um, so I can tell you, I don't mind saying this. I do take medication for like anxiety, but it's not like anything like severe, you know what I mean? But I had a, I have still, because my mother's of course still alive, but she's a very anxious person. She's very, very like anxious, kind of stressed a lot, and a lot of that kind of rubbed off on me. So when I was younger, I'd say I was more like prone to like high anxiety, uh, not really taking chances, but just kind of being a worry warrior. You're just always worried about something.
Yeah,
But I think as I've gotten older, I've been able to kind of shake some of that stuff off, and a lot of that just kind of comes to sort of you discovering who you are and getting comfortable with that, I guess.
exactly. Yes, I would agree with that. There was this time that I was on my way back from Colorado through Nebraska where I kind of freaked out a little bit on a vehicle, but
Ooh.
it was just, I think it was morely because I was in Nebraska. That Nebraska's pretty terrible. And no
What?
offense to
What?
Nebraska.
I mean,
Just
why is
it's
it terrible?
boring.
Yeah, it's just
It's just a
boring.
long road of boringness. Like no good food there, no nothing. We didn't even want to stay there. But that was about the only time. It's not like I got out and tried to fight anybody or anything. They're just
You're
like,
just like, I
what
can't
is this
take
kid
Nebraska.
doing? Like, and normally, you know, if I get cut off or something, I don't really care.
Yeah,
You know,
I a good example I like to kind of say for people that get too worked up about like little situations in life. This is a good story. So my dad, he's been one of those people in life that like if he sees someone like park in the handicap spot that shouldn't, he'll flip out and just be like, "What the hell are they doing?" Like, "Oh my God." He gets all pissed off and just angry. Or like if someone, parks in a fire lane and they're not supposed to, and again, he just gets mad. And he used to get so worked up, and finally one of these days when he was having one of these blow ups, he's not even talking to this, the person that did it, but he's just complaining like nonstop, going crazy. I just kind of stopped him in his tracks one day and I said, "Look, Dad, all right, let's say, God forbid, this person comes out to your car and you get to speak your piece and be like, hey, you're a worthless piece of shit that parked in the handicap spot. You're terrible. F you." Like you say that. It's like, what do you think that person's going to do? Do you think they're just going to be like, "Oh, hey, I never really thought about that. I am horrible and I do suck. Thank you, kind sir, for telling me that. I will move my car now."
yeah, not a good idea nowadays with everybody like carrying a gun. You know, it's
No, but it's like, but the point with all that is it's like wasting that kind of energy, like on that type of a thing. It's like it doesn't do yourself any good for one, and the other person it's not going to do anything for. So it's like, why bother? Like just let it go. Like I believe in
yep.
karma, and like you do that kind of
I do
stuff,
too.
you'll
Yes.
get in trouble.
Yeah, but that's why I don't believe in that, you know, stealing or anything like that, because that all
No.
comes back to you, and you need to work for your own stuff. You know, that's kind of how I always felt. But yeah. What else would you like to add to the whole 9 yards? You have any?
I got one more.
All
I got
right.
one. I got one more thing because going back to Matthew Perry's character with Oz, um, part of part of why I actually think he gets involved like kind of more deeply with the Jimmy thing, aside from getting his like psycho wife off of his back, which gotta give kudos quick. Rosanna Arquette, I think that's her name. The guy that
Yep.
the girl that plays his crazy wife. My God, she plays a despicable person well.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
terrible.
you
So
can't
is her
stand her.
mom.
Like she's horrible.
Yeah, her mom's. Oh, good.
But that said, I think part of the reason he kind of gets deeper with the Jimmy thing is because in his own day-to-day life, I think he just got really bored. I think he
Yeah.
was like at least that's a takeaway I have is that he just kind of seemed to be like going insane with the mundane, of just kind of doing the same thing every day and it never gets any better.
Yeah, and he
Um,
had to spice it up a little bit.
so I kind of asked the question to you, like in your own life, I mean, have you ever felt like you've had to like make like a change up, just to kind of be like, my God, like I got to do something different. Like this is no good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I was raised in a, you know, small town. I lived in Waterloo for quite some time. Worked in Waterloo. Waterloo was a little bit of a different place, you know, and I decided I needed to kind of switch it up, and you know, things led for me to actually move back. I worked in Waterloo for probably about 2 years, and then I moved back with my mom, and then just looked for a job in Cedar Rapids, and that's pretty much what brought me up here. Just, you know, to get away from, you know, craziness, you know,
Hmm.
drinking and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I had to definitely make a change. And now I live more of a, you know, pretty boring life, like a Matthew, you know, go to work, come home, you know, pet the cats. I have cats now, you know, so
You said you have,
that's
what do you have, like four of them, you said?
yeah, but I have four of them. They're running around here. I know it sounds like a lot, but there's a decent enough space for them all. One was just in here. I think my wife has them locked up. But yeah, I got 4. You have any animals?
I got one. I got a cat. She's floating around here somewhere. Of course, it's a movie reference. Her name is Clarice from like Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah. Hey Ashley. Actually, my wife's right here.
Is
Ashley, you
she?
want to come? Yeah, come.
Yeah,
Come meet Jordan.
you can come in.
Hey.
Hi.
You see?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Thanks for
Do you
letting me
wanna be
borrow
a
your.
cat? Oh, go ahead.
I have a cat
I was just
upstairs.
gonna say thanks for letting me borrow your husband for a little bit.
Oh, I took a nap, so I was okay.
No,
Yeah,
we've
we're
been
just talking about the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, a lot of movies.
Do you want a cat?
You can bring down and bring. You can show him a cat, I guess. Just grab
Yeah, why
one.
not?
But
my cat's a little timid one. She hides a lot.
you only one cat? You got a puppy too, or?
No, I live in a condo, and we, our HOA, they're like, oh no dogs. But I don't think it's long term because I definitely want to have a dog.
Dude, no lie. I have one of my clients paid me in catnip. You know how
What?
ridiculous that looked? Like they handed me a big bag of catnip. Of course, I was like, hey, yeah, that's a lot of catnip, deal. He grows his own catnip.
So are you trying to say though, the next time I do a haircut, I can bring you catnip?
You cannot. No, I am not taking no more haircuts in catnip. I only did it once, and I'm not going to admit it, and this is recording, so that's great. No, people, don't bring me catnip.
Yeah, do not do it. He doesn't want it. No. It's not bartering. It is a money business.
Yeah, that's right. I can't pay the government with catnip.
No.
Oh, no. This is midnight. Okay. Of course,
well, yeah. I mean,
yeah, he's all black, so we went with midnight. How?
I mean, it's appropriate.
Yeah, that's right.
It's very appropriate. It's good. Now, hang
on.
I
got a fat cat, a couple of gray ones, and a calico.
I couldn't even tell you what breed of cat mine is. Like she's I don't know. She's mixed something. She was a rescue cat though. I know that. She was found in the dumpster behind Michael's.
Always go for rescued people. Don't go for these breeders. Just get one that needs a home.
I've never understood that. I guess I've never bought into the whole like purebred thing or that whole animal breeding thing. I just like you said, there's so many animals that are in need, just as it is.
And that's actually why we went with the black cat. Did you know that most people don't adopt black cats? So they're the ones who usually stay in the shelter the longest because they're bad luck. They get returned. Yeah, they're just they're the most frowned upon cats. And best cat ever. He don't even bother anybody.
Yeah, that just sounds like superstitious crap. Just like a old wives' tale. Yeah, exactly. People are strange on that.
Yeah, and so Angie had these tarot cards, and I had her read my future. That was probably a mistake, but I don't believe it. I guess there is a point. It's not that I'm not saying I don't believe it. Actually, well, I do have a few clients that work in funeral homes and work with dead people, and they
do the haircuts on the dead people.
Oh no, I think they have somebody who actually does those. But they live in the funeral home and do put fluid in them and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus, how do you do that? I even have a client that actually extracts eyes, organs.
Really?
And he's never seen any, and he goes, I'm like, how do you even sleep at night? That's just terrible. You go take people's eyeballs out. But yeah, that's a pain, man.
Yeah, well, you got to certainly have the right temperament, right personality for that. That's certainly a very distinct line of work. I don't think just anybody could do that.
Have you ever seen 6 Feet Under?
No, I never have, but I've heard it's good.
Very good, but it's another TV series that if you're it's a long series too.
See, this is my thing, and I think I told you this before. I like TV series. Actually, right now, I've been going back. I'm trying to rewatch Breaking Bad right now.
Is it good?
I think it's really good.
Is it? Yeah. Once you get into it, I'm sure it is. Everybody loves The Walking Dead too.
Well, I watched a couple seasons of that, and then I'm like, okay, this is just a soap opera with zombies. It's not ending. It just keeps going.
Give me
No,
some real zombies.
I love a lot of TV shows, but I just like, man, I got a lot going on in life, and I don't have time to watch all these shows. There's too many of them. If I was
Yes.
unemployed and like just sitting on my ass, like sure, like then I could do it, but I can't.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I just do it like, I don't at night I'll just turn on something. I'm probably not like right now I'm in the middle of watching The Strain,
Yeah, I've
which
heard of
is
that
on
one too.
Hulu. What?
I've heard of that one too. Never seen it,
Yeah.
but I've heard about it.
It's kind of weird.
Well, that's not exactly a selling point. I don't think I want to watch it now.
Don't. You don't. It's their little weird spin on vampires, I guess, and viruses, and it's weird.
Okay, so
But,
do you have any final thoughts on the whole 9 yards?
no, I kind of wish they'd come out with something like it, to watch.
There's not
But
many
no,
movies like that.
not really. Not no, because it has the mob aspect. It does kind of make me think. You remember Without a Paddle?
Oh my God, you bet I do. Yes, I
Oh
love
yeah,
that movie.
I did. I don't know why, but it kind of makes me think of that. Maybe because of the nostalgia behind it. But no, I don't really have a whole lot more questions on the whole 9 yards or any more thoughts really.
Well, okay, so first off, I appreciate you coming on to the podcast and just humoring me and talking about more than just the whole 9 yards. We actually talked about a lot of different movies, so that was
Yeah.
fun. I really do sincerely appreciate it. But now, in the words of, you ever watch the show like Hot Ones on YouTube? With like the spicy buffalo wings where they interview guests, nothing like that.
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, I'm borrowing from it a little bit, but I want to roll out the red carpet for you, as they say on the show a little bit. You work at Barber's Edge here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I was excited to have you on for that because I think it's not like a secret. You've been cutting my hair. Do a great job,
Yeah.
by the way.
Thank you.
But you've been working there, so I just figure I just kind of want to plug Barber's Edge. If you're in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa area, fantastic place to get a cut. Isaac's your guy. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe after this episode, it'll blow up. You'll get so many freaking requests for a haircut, it'll make your hair spin or your head spin.
Yeah,
But
and you mentioned the podcast.
oh wait, hang on. Are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hang on. You cut out for like just a second. I can hear you. I can hear you now. You're good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yep. Mention the podcast, and we'll go ahead and do $5 off your haircut. Good time. Have a beer. We're usually watching like Impractical Jokers, or sometime in the morning I'll have sports on, but I like to keep it kind of lighthearted in there. Angie does phenomenal with colors. It's 3964 Center Point Road, Northeast, right behind the old Burger Fiend, right next to Red Lion. But I do appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
like I said, so about you. So you have a YouTube channel as well, huh? And
well, I don't keep it up and running anymore. I did have a YouTube, like it's still out there. Like you can look it up and certainly watch old videos I made. But no, podcasting's my focus right now.
Yeah, and you've been doing it for like a year, you said, huh?
Yeah, a little over a year. I started it on August 13th of 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of been looking into starting a YouTube myself, but morely directed around like finance and stuff like that. So pretty boring stuff, but
not to the right person. I mean, there's people that like that.
Yeah, I like talking stocks. I'm actually big into, finance, not a big crypto guy, but it was interesting to be, come on and actually do this, and I'm going to play it back and hear how I sound.
Yeah, well, if I may give you a piece of advice for doing this, and then I have a couple questions I just want to ask you about you and Barber's Edge and stuff before we start wrapping up. But my biggest piece of advice for you or anybody that's going to do like content creation, whether it be videos or audio or whatever, just start doing it. I'm not kidding. Like that's the biggest thing is I think people try to overthink it, or like they want it to be perfect from like right when they start. They want to get the right equipment and like do everything. But the best way to do this is just by doing it. Like that's honest to God what I would tell you. And then I would also say just 100% don't try to sugarcoat like how you talk or anything like that. Just be 100% yourself.
All right.
That would be my advice.
I could maybe use it. I'm still unsure of the whole thing. My wife thinks I'm probably crazy, but yeah.
Don't. I'm sorry. I'm sure she's great, but don't let her be a naysayer on that. You got to listen to you, and if you got something to say on it, just do it.
So your wife took it pretty well, huh? She
Uh-huh.
was like 100% with it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I've had her on the podcast before too, twice.
oh, that would be, yeah.
You can go back and listen to the episodes. The first one we did, we actually talked about that Will Smith movie, King Richard. And then the second time I had her on, we talked about the movie 13 Lives, which that one's a newer one with the Ron Howard movie about like the Thai cave rescue. It was really good. But no, I've had her on. She's very supportive of it. I think she just sees the not just the passion I have for movies, but she actually sees that I don't like sound like arrogant, or anything like that, but I have a voice and I have an opinion on things and I'm good at doing this type of thing. So I think she sees that it makes me happy, and she also sees that I'm trying to reach an audience and kind of do something with it and like actually turn it into something, not just like a casual hobby. So I'm happy that she sees that it's not just kind of like oh, he likes to sit on the computer and talk into a microphone for a while and then go about his life. It's like, no, I actually really appreciate the podcasting medium, and I like what people are able to do with it. I like the freedom with it. And so for somebody like myself, it's the perfect playground to explore all that.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'd be so you weren't really nervous at first, huh? Or were you pretty
Nah,
nervous when
honestly,
you
if
did
you
your first video? Like,
first video, maybe a little bit, but I don't know. So like this is a bit of a story, but I'll try not to ramble too much. When I was really young, I was definitely very introverted. Like I was very much kind of like in a shell. I kind of lived in a bubble. I didn't really like take a lot of chances. I was very shy. I didn't like to, put myself out there, right? Like I didn't do sports or anything like that. But I don't know. I think as I just got older and started to slowly but surely take more chances and kind of tap into myself and figure out what do I really care about. And at the end of the day, a lot of it's entertainment, the entertainment industry, the movies, the art form of it, the whole thing. And as I started to get more comfortable with it, I actually figured out, I'm like, hey, I don't think I'm actually the shy person that I made myself believe. Like I actually am a lot more extroverted. So personality wise, as
see,
I started to kind of develop it, it started to become less and less of like a nervous thing to me, and I just kind of lean into it, and I love doing it.
so if you had the ability, would you go full time in it? Just be
Yeah.
a
Yep.
really
It's
that'd be
not even a
cool.
question. Yeah.
See, and I always saw I was never big into like pictures or anything like that. That's why, I think we
Hmm.
both kind of connected on Becker, that TV show.
Becker. All right.
Um, he was I really relate to him in a lot of ways, caring, but I'm still, a lot of people kind of, especially strangers I don't know, you know, I'm a little introverted, but I'm a barber, so that's
It's a
kind of
social
crazy.
profession, I would say, isn't it?
It is a social profession, but
Yeah.
again, I've had the same clients for so many years that,
Hmm.
we kind of are all opened up in there, I'm not, but when I first met my wife's, family, like I was barely talked. I was shy,
Hmm.
still not like a big photo guy, but so that's neat that you used to be kind of, introverted too, and you found
Oh
out that
God.
actually you do good.
Yeah, no, it takes. I mean, there's a lot of reasons I think as to why, but I think one thing I can certainly speak to is like even during like the shy days, you know, like where I was like really timid and things like that. I admit I've always had like sort of like an internal motivator, I guess. Like I've always been able to motivate myself. I've never really had to like have somebody kind of like encourage me always. Maybe socially I have like to kind of be more outspoken and speak up a little bit. I've certainly had to have encouragement for that, but not to better myself. I've always wanted to do that. Um, but it's obviously it's sort of tricky to figure out where to channel that energy at in a way that you can actually, you know, make some sustainability out of it, meaning that you could like live and support yourself off of it. That's tough.
Yeah, did you have like any idols, like, growing up or anything that kind of gave you that edge? Like I love, Kobe and Michael and, you
Sure.
know, people that gave you that self-motivation.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I talked about the entertainment industry. I mean, there's certainly actors and filmmakers I think I've looked up to. You know, like if we were talking like the mafia ones, Martin Scorsese is somebody that a lot of people idolize in the film industry because he made Goodfellas and Wolf of Wall Street, The Departed.
Oh
You know,
God, Wolf of Wall
the
Street.
list goes on with him. But um, you know, honestly, Sylvester Stallone uh because of what he had to do to make the Rocky movies. If you ever like want to go down a rabbit hole and figure out how he actually got like the first one funded and how he wrote it, and like it was a huge risk for him at the time, like he had like no money to his name or anything.
Hmm.
You know, so like there's stories and people like that that I do find inspiring, but that I think like in my own life, you know, I never had a mentor until probably about like my sophomore year of high school. Like that was the first time I got a mentor. He's sadly passed away. But it was my former math teacher in high school. Now, I'm not saying that he encouraged me to, you know, do podcasting and, you know, get in the movies and stuff. Podcasting wasn't even a thing, you know, back then. Um, but if I could say if I had anybody encourage me from an early age, it was him because he gave me the confidence in myself to not just settle for minimum. Because I didn't think I was going to go to college for a long time. I didn't really have any real direction. I kind of didn't know what the hell I was doing. And he gave me not only encouragement but actually gave me like practical like focus. Like he helped me get my first scholarship for college. You know, he gave me the encouragement to go to college and to find something I actually was genuinely good at. So he was a big motivator earlier on in my life, and it's sad that he passed away. He died of heart failure. He had a bad heart, and he was only in like his like mid to late 50s. Just sad.
Yeah, life
Sorry,
is
that's a bit of a
precious.
story, but
But yeah,
so
no,
okay.
it was a pleasure having me on. Like I said, first experience. Hope I didn't
Yeah,
didn't screw anything up or anything. Didn't sound
no.
crazy, but
I mean, unless like I start getting a bunch of comments that are just like that last guest you had on, what a nut job. Like
yeah.
nobody's gonna do that. Um, okay, I got a couple quick things, and then we will wind this down. I've taken enough of your time up. But real quick, Barber's Edge. Again, you mentioned like the address of it and everything. If you're in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa area, I promise I'm giving an endorsement for this place. They do an amazing job with your hair. They treat you nice. They're good. I promise. You won't ever want to go to a Cost Cutters or Super Great Clips, any of that crap. You won't want to do it after you go to this place. But I gotta ask, what are all the services that you guys offer there? I mean, I know you do like hair and beard and stuff like that, but I know you do other things too, I think.
Oh yeah, we do, of course, shaves, neck shaves, nose waxing, color, ears, you know, even aftershave masks we will do. Angie does
What's
perms.
an aftershave mask? What is that?
Well, after you get shaved, it's just a mask that kind of cleans out the pores and stuff.
Hmm.
Eyebrows, everything a typical salon does. If I can't do it, Angie can definitely do it if it's in the, whether even if it's women's hair, she does all the women in my family. So, and yeah, we cover grays, anything you need done with hair, we can do. We don't do extensions or, dreadlocks or nothing like that, but
Right.
everything else, we do. Like I don't even do perms myself, but Angie does. So, if you need anything, just give us a call, Jordan. We appreciate the endorsement, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. I mean, like, seriously, it's a true pleasure for me. I really want to be able to actually use the podcasting format and medium. If I can plug, a local business, something like that, I'm more than happy to do it. It's a win-win for both of us.
Well, yeah, definitely. Like I said, mention the podcast. We'll take $5 off, your services. And
And how
you'll
long
always be
how long is
treated
that
right.
good for?
Well, we'll go all the way to the end of October. We'll, all the way to the
Perfect.
end of October. You come in, mention the podcast, we'll get you $5 off. If you're over 21, we'll get you a beer and have a good time, a good experience with the haircut.
Well, you won't have a bad experience with you or Angie or anybody that's it's just you two there, right?
It is. Before the pandemic, we were fully staffed, but after it's just down to me and Angie. Still looking. I also am able to, I'm looking into training somebody. I kind of got somebody already in mind, so
Nice.
we're trying to get back going with getting more people in there. That way, it's right now it's better to make an appointment, but if you're just kind of getting a haircut, we can get you in a walk-in, but we're pretty much appointment based. So
Sure. Okay. Well, my final question for you, and then we're done. It is October now, so I'd be remiss if I did not ask you, like, what's your favorite horror movie to watch in October?
well, the definitely the horror movie I'm gonna watch is Hellraiser, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna watch the old Hellraisers. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I know everybody's into the Hocus Pocus. That
Yeah,
back
that
in
new
my
sequel's
time,
out.
that was that's I'll watch it with the children. But back in my time, the craft was a little more darker, deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did come out with another craft, but it was trash, I guess. But yeah, I'll be watching Hellraiser. I love horror. I like this time of year. So that's what I'll
Yep.
be doing. What about you?
Well, I can tell you for one, Marcus Theaters here in Cedar Rapids, they do those old screenings of movies. They're
Yes.
gonna be doing a screening of The Shining, which I've already seen on the big screen once before, but I'd happily go see that again, so I'm definitely gonna see that.
Have you ever
I
seen that place, by the way? Have you ever been out
no,
to
no, I
Estes
I
Park?
would love to though. Have you been there?
Yeah, yeah. I've been there. My daughter, yeah, I've been there.
I mean, is it
My daughter
creepy or
wanted
is
to
it
check it
just
out, so yeah, we
it's
checked
probably
it out.
nice looking. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's nice looking. Stephen King, man, my favorite probably from Stephen King was the
Hmm.
Tommy Knockers, but
I've never seen that.
or Storm of the Century.
Storm of the Century is good.
I
Not
probably
enough
have to
people
go.
talk about that.
No, that was one of the first of those kind of movies. That he was good. But
Storm of the
yeah, that's what
Century
I'll be
always
watching.
Storm of the Century always reminded me a little bit of another Stephen King one with The Mist, you know?
Oh, The Mist. What a terrible ending, man.
Well,
You're
the ending
oh,
aside, what the reason why I say they kind of relate to me is because both movies sort of put you in that moral dilemma situation where you're like, how would you really behave if you were stuck in that spot, you know?
and that's the crazy part. The worst part of all these, even The Walking Dead, and that's probably why I'm not into those kind of movies, is because the most dangerous thing is the other humans. You
Yeah.
know, that's terrible to me. I try to escape. I want to fight against the zombies. But yeah, we're going off topic again. And
No,
everything.
it's okay. All right. I will let you go, sir, but again, very much appreciate you coming on. You're welcome to come back anytime. Check out Barber's Edge if you're in the
Yeah.
Cedar Rapids, Iowa area. You'll get a badass haircut, I promise. But that's it. So
All right. Well, thanks a lot again for having me.